So it looks like we have some people coming in, but I'm going to give it a few minutes before we start so that give people a chance to get in here. Has anybody been to any of the other webinars that we did over the past couple months? Or is this your first one? First. Okay. Well, I hope you get value out of it. It should be a good one. I'll talk a little bit about the other two to kind of bring you up to speed. This is kind of the third one in a series. So, but the other two are on YouTube. If you like this one, it'd be worth going back and watching the other two. All right, I guess we can. I'll give it a couple. I'll give it another minute. We still have people coming in. I'm curious for anybody that's listening right now. What was the trigger that made you sign up to listen to this webinar? What problem are you trying to solve? All right. Still have a couple people coming in. We'll give it 30 more seconds and then we'll get started. Creating more authentic and useful content. The customer, okay, that's a good reason. The assumption of needs, yeah. It's easy to just assume. Does anybody do voice of the customer work? Try and get actual feedback from the customer, voice of the market work? All right. I'm going to get started now. What I'll do, I've been having some weird internet issues. I'm going to go full screen, but I'm going to shut off my camera to try and curb any disconnections. All right. So our goal today is to start mapping the value that you provide as a business to your customer's journey or your hero's journey. So hopefully that'll be a takeaway for you today. My name is Rob. I've been a partner at PIC for 7 years. I've been with PIC for like 14 years. And I've been doing marketing strategy for over 20 years. I became very passionate about the customer-centric approach to marketing really after listening to Luke Summerfield talk about growth-driven design at Inbound back in probably 2017 or 18, a while ago. Also, Tony Ulwick, who built the Jobs to be Done framework, has greatly influenced me and the work that I've done putting together the Hero Mission Strategy. It's a content business strategy framework that we're continually developing. So it's just really geared toward a customer-centric approach to marketing. So like I said, this is the third part of a series. The first webinar I did was around buyer personas, what most marketers get wrong about buyer personas. And then we did a webinar, how to build content that mirrors your customer journey. And then this one is adding value to that content. Just to recap a little bit, when we talk about what marketers get wrong about buyer personas, the biggest thing is they treat them like a checkbox. They go through and they build out buyer personas. They don't use them. They get put on SharePoint somewhere or in a Google Drive, and they collect dust and die. The other thing is that they're a map of who the potential customer is, but not what they're actually trying to do. And the other thing is that they're kind of predatory. Marketers tend to build buyer personas from the company perspective, right? Where who are we going to target? We want to cast the net, and it's just kind of like that predatory feel with buyer personas, which I don't really like that much. What I want and what I strive to get our clients to do is shift their perspective from that of the company pushing everything out to your customers, your prospects, your heroes, and really start shifting the perspective to look at everything from their perspective. What are their pains? What are they trying to accomplish? What are the outcomes that they're trying to achieve, so that you can start aligning your value to help them be successful in their endeavors, right? And Theodore Levitt has the best quote that really sums this up. People don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill, company-centric. They want a 1/4-inch hole, customer-centric. Now, the hero mission strategy has 3 key pillars to it: hero building, mission building, and story building. Hero building is understanding who your buyer is, what motivates them. The mission is what they're trying to accomplish, the jobs that they're trying to do. And then story building is understanding how that all ties together into that story aspect, that from beginning, middle, end. What are the milestones that your hero is going to face as they try to be successful in the mission they're trying to accomplish? The traditional customer journey is awareness, consideration, decision, retention, loyalty. There's versions of this. This is SEMrush's version of the customer journey. And if we look at it from a company-centric point of view, which we're going to do here in a minute, you'll see that there's just a better way to look at it, in my opinion. The hero mission, the customer-centric journey, we're looking at origin point, research and planning, action and experimentation, implementation, results and improvement, sharing and leadership. So we're really trying to understand the journey of the customer on their mission, not the way they go through our sales pipeline. And I'm going to try and frame these with hypothesis statements. So awareness, if we maximize brand visibility through advertising and promotion, we can generate more leads and sales by capturing customer attention before competitors do. So it's like the hypothesis statement of the awareness stage of the buyer's journey. So as a marketer, if you were to look at that hypothesis statement, what actions would you take from that hypothesis statement? You might want to maybe build or expand a paid social or Google Ads program, maybe increase your budget, do remarketing. Those are the kind of things that you might want to do in order to achieve the outcome of the awareness stage. With the origin point, if you look at that hypothesis that's revolving around understanding, listening for, and identifying the hero's starting point, what kind of action items would you take if you were trying to achieve that hypothesis? It could be defining what triggers your customers' experience to take action, defining their pain points, those hurdles and roadblocks that they're going to face along the way, making sure that you have content that aligns with those pain points and then also adds the value that we're going to be talking about. And when we're talking about value, there's kind of 4 pillars that I think of when we're thinking about value. The products that you may or may that you may offer or that may be available in order to help your hero be successful: services, experience, and relationships. So those are kind of the 4 pillars of value that we'll be looking at. Consideration, how we're positioning our products. Action items for this hypothesis could be adding limited time discounts for closing or bonuses to proposals, setting up your cadence calls, your 3-touch cadence calls. On the action and experimentation side, we're focusing on educating and empowering our heroes to make a decision that's right for them. So we really want to understand our heroes and what decision makes the most sense for them and help them make that decision. So we could share how to choose frameworks, self-assessments or calculators are good for this stage. And then maybe just getting our sales team to view everything from that customer-centric point of view rather than the company-centric point of view. Label Insight Transparency did an ROI study that showed 94% of business-to-business buyers are more likely to buy from a company that demonstrates transparency, and that includes pricing. So action experimentation, pricing is a good thing to think about whenever we're talking about this stage too. Making pricing at least to the point that the hero understands what ballpark they're playing in. Are they at the Super Bowl? Or are they at the high school level? Just helping frame that so that they know if they're wasting their time or if they're ready to move forward. You don't have to send them through a lengthy sales process only for them to find out that you're not even in the same ballpark. Decision stage. This is focused on closing urgency. So actions from this hypothesis could be deadlines, limited time offers, those scarcity signals. We only have room for one more. Again, the cadence call, structured follow-up process. On the research and planning side, action items here could be building out a guided first steps program, just making sure that we're setting expectations and guiding them through the process. Scheduling proactive follow-ups that aren't necessarily sales related, but they're value driven. So what kind of proactive follow-ups can we do to help troubleshoot, help answer questions, celebrate early wins, and then maybe even adding them to your Slack group here, depending on what your products and services and what your approach is, getting them in your ecosystem to start learning from your team and just experiencing what it's like working with you could be good here. Retention, keeping customers engaged. We can maximize repeat purchases and increase lifetime value. Action items here could be referral bonuses for bringing in new customers, bundling products and services, things of that nature. On the implementation side, we might look at coaching or strategy sessions, customer spotlights that we could showcase what they're doing to the rest of our clients or the rest of the industry, things like that. Now, on the loyalty side, maybe we're going to launch a tiered referral program, or provide early access to new products or features or services or things like that. On the results and improvement side, maybe we're sharing customer spotlights in our newsletter, or we're doing sessions for lessons learned that we can share with the rest of our clients, or even co-create new solutions. Maybe we can get working with our heroes in order to build new solutions to help everybody else. Loyalty is not just about perks, right? 74% of customers stay loyal because brands help them succeed through quality, consistency, and great experiences. So looking at our company-centric and our hero mission-centric, customer-centric point of view, which of those is going to build the best experience? And really, that's what we're trying to do. We want to build a great experience for our customers. Now, the company-centric journey kind of ends there. Hero mission, I have one more in there, which is sharing in next steps. Our mission is not just to deliver a product or service. It's to really help our hero grow and succeed on multiple levels. And when I say multiple levels, We want to understand what success means within the company that they work for. We want to understand what success means among their peers. Are they a go-to resource? Are they getting recognized as a leader within their organization? And then for themselves, building confidence, building skills, and just becoming better at and more of an expert in their field. Maybe even providing speaking opportunities. If you can establish opportunities for them to speak within the industry or within your company or your customer group, that could be a great opportunity for them, and it's elevating them. So when we're talking about hero mission, the easiest way to kind of build something out so that you can map out all of your heroes is the mission brief. Because you probably have more than one hero. You may have more than one mission. You can have multiple heroes on the same mission too, right? Because there might be a whole bunch of people trying to accomplish the same thing. They may have different motivations to accomplish that, but they're all trying to accomplish the same thing. So building out a mission brief for each hero and mission, we use a 4-part framework there. In the as a, we want to identify the role and the purpose of our hero. Where are they at within the company and what's their purpose for being there? When I is the mission that they're trying to accomplish. I want are the desired outcomes of that mission. What are they? What are the outcomes that they expect from being successful in this mission? So I is the impact of achieving those outcomes. What does it mean to them if those outcomes get achieved? So once we build out our mission briefs and we look at those and we decide, okay, this is the mission brief that we really want to look at and focus on. What we do then is we build out a storyboard around that mission. And again, we could have multiple heroes on the same mission. So we could have multiple heroes engaged in this storyboard, but the storyboard does reflect one mission. So we don't want to confuse one storyboard with 4 different missions. Each mission should have its own storyboard, but each mission can have multiple heroes. So what we do here is we organize this storyboard based off of the milestones of the mission. And we use that hero framework in here as a guide, right? You don't have to try and nail it just the way it is here. This is just kind of a framework to help you look at the mission and start organizing the milestones in a way that makes sense for your hero and the mission that they're on. And then we also want to establish endings. Our happily ever after ending, that's like the ideal perfect outcome. And this is a good ending to understand so we can kind of backwards engineer that happily ever after outcome. Cliffhanger ending is they tried to be successful in the mission. They're really no better off or no worse off than they were before, or there's status quo. They're like, I'm just kind of happy with where we're at right now. And then the tragedy is they tried to complete the mission, but something bad happened. Something went wrong. And it's good to know the endings because we want the happily ever after ending. But when new prospects come to talk to us and come to learn from us, they may be coming from that cliffhanger or that tragic ending. So it's good to understand the commonalities and what has kind of not worked in the past so that we can be prepared for that and also try to create value to correct that. Now, I'm going to use Owner Owen as an example. This is kind of a simplified example of a hero mission brief. And I'm going to use this so that you can kind of see what this process might look like as Pick would go through it. Actually, we're in the process of rebuilding our website, and we're going to leverage some of this in the development of our new website. So you'll see this in the future. So Owner Owen, as a company owner, when I work to solve increasing SEO leads, I want a transparent, predictable system that drives qualified leads so I can scale revenue, empower my team, and focus growth instead of micromanaging. So this is, I boiled this down as much as I possibly could. The original's a little bit longer than that, but for the sake of brevity, I have it boiled down to this for the mission brief. So we have our mission brief defined. Now, at Pick, we actually go through a specific workshop to build out the hero in a lot of detail and the mission in a lot of detail, but this is a good starting point to at least start moving forward with it and using it. So now what we want to do is we want to build out that storyboard that we were just talking about. So our mission is to build a predictable, cost-effective lead generation system with SEO. And then I can build out 6 chapters that kind of represent the milestones of Owner Owen going through this mission. So everything from the quest of predictable growth, just understanding what, how SEO is a predictable growth channel for the business, to the successful side, SEO as a growth engine. Everything's working, everything's doing exactly what I want it to do, and I'm very happy with the results. So these are the milestones, and then we have our endings established there too. So after we have the mission brief, after we have the storyboard defined, the next thing that we really want to look at is what I call the number 1 page. And the number 1 page, if you're thinking about your hero and you're thinking about that mission brief from their perspective, what's the number 1 page on your website that they need to visit in order to understand what it's like working with you? We want this page to have a strong first impression. We want it to build trust. We want it to showcase your capabilities as it aligns to their mission. And then we also want to set expectations so that they understand, they can self-qualify, and they also understand what it's going to be like working with you as a company. And then we want to have social proof. So we want to have other people who have spoken up about how great it is to work with you on that page, or case studies or things like that, that offers that encouragement that you've done this before. You're not just, working out of your garage. So if we look at the anatomy of this, the heading, we really want the hero to understand that they're on the right page whenever they first land on it, right? So in our case, we're going to say, is SEO driving revenue or just ranking? So I'm just trying to tie Owner Owen into kind of framing around, I want SEO as a revenue driver. I don't necessarily care how much I'm ranking in the engine if it's not driving revenue. I want SEO to drive revenue. So we established that as our header, our H1 tag. Now the subhead is a command, and we want to provide that in a way that resonates with the mission that Owner Owen is trying to accomplish. And here I'm trying to position PIC as the company who focuses on sales growth as a goal, not just search visibility. So we're trying to grow metrics that matter. The elevator pitch here, we really want to nail what your value proposition is for the mission. So, I mean, think about your products and services. Think about a potential number 1 page for your heroes. Like, how are you right now? What would that page be? And then, are you capturing your value proposition in the header of that page so that they understand that you're the company that they should be working with? So that's where we want to nail the value proposition within that elevator pitch. And then we want to have a call to action at the top of that page. So these elements that we just talked about is kind of the hero section of your page. That's a part of the page that's at the top above the fold, and everything's there in order to really position yourselves as a partner that can help them be successful in their mission. Now, the call to action is part of that. The call to action is the number 1 action we want that visitor to take on the page. So in this case, a personalized SEO review. That would be that would go directly to the sales team or the sales expert that can help them understand how their SEO is currently working for them. So that would be a great CTA. It's a kind of a sales hand raise CTA in this instance. Now, depending on what your business is, this could be a product demo CTA. It could be a project review or something like that. But our CTA here, most likely we're going to want it to be a sales call hand raise or some kind of sales initiation for that hero who has already done a lot of research, was really impressed with our opening. Maybe they'll scan the rest of the page, but they are ready to make a sales action. So that's why we want the CTA number 1 to be a sales action CTA. And we can also promote that on 3 areas of the site. I like to promote it up in the hero area. This template has a fixed navigation on the left, so we can have a CTA there and then a CTA at the bottom. So the call to action is very important to have call to actions on your pages. Call to action 2 is like the next best action that they could take. So it's a lower commitment action. If our hero is not ready to talk to a sales rep, maybe they're very early in the story, in the mission, like chapter 1, they're still doing the research. Call to action 2 is what we want to use to help them get value out of our offerings and provide value to their mission. So we know a lot of their hurdles, a lot of the roadblocks. This call to action should promote something that's going to help them be successful. And we'll dig into this in a little bit about what that might look like. What is it? So help frame your products and services to the mission that they're trying to accomplish in this section, right? Here I'm talking about what real SEO looks like. And this is going to let me say, in order to be successful at SEO, these are the fundamental things that you have to have, right? So it's allowing me to educate them on what quality SEO is. And then what are my options? Here is where we kind of start to help our heroes self-qualify and also look at how we can maybe relate some of our other offerings into this mission. Sometimes it's good to think about what's the goal of the mission, right? So in this instance, the goal is to generate more revenue through SEO. So we kind of understand that the goal's driving revenue, right? So I can say SEO is great. SEO also works with these other channels to help grow revenue. So you're kind of showing the big picture and how, in our case, SEO ties into other marketing channels. Is it right for me? This is a good self-qualification section. So this is where we can really help our hero understand if we're the right company to work with, if this is the right mission that they should be working on. In this case, is your SEO working? Here's how to tell in 3 minutes. So I want owner Owen to be able to see this section, learn in 3 minutes where he's at in his SEO journey. Like, is he in a bad spot, or is he in, it's not quite as bad as I thought it was. Really want to help him self-qualify here. And this is where we like to set expectations on what it's like working with the company. This is where we could put in our pricing so that they know we're setting expectations around the pricing of whatever that program might look like. We can also start introducing them into the sales process so that they're going to know what happens next. We don't want them wondering what's going to happen next. We want them to understand what's going to happen next. Connection here. I may have lost connection there for a second. I don't know. But this is where, letting the customer understand where they're at or what the sales process is going to look like can be very helpful. So are we going to have a discovery call, and then I have to send in maybe a project scope, and then you're going to review the scope with engineering, and what does that look like to the hero? And then how can I succeed? So this is a great section where you can start aligning up your expectations of them with your expectations, or their expectations of you. So from an SEO standpoint and PIC standpoint, we work really well with companies in a partnership level. So this is where we can align what we expect from our partners and how they work with us. So one source of truth for approvals, things like that. So this sets them up so that they have a clear picture and understand what has to happen in order for this to be successful. What are the ingredients of success? And then, testimonials and social proof. This is huge. I have it here in a section, but this could even be sprinkled throughout the page so that you have that social proof kind of as they go through each section of the website. But this is very important. Business owners growing with SEO. So I can have testimonials on this page around other companies who have used us for SEO and were successful. So that'll be the social proof. And then the learn more, this is where we're going to start tying in the content that we're creating that is valuable to the #1 page, so that as our hero reads through this page, now they have resources that are tied to hurdles and roadblocks that we already know that they're going to face as they try to be successful in this mission. So we want to incorporate not just any blog post on this page. We want these resources, these blog posts, these videos, this content that we create. We want it to be very specific to the mission that they're trying to accomplish, so that it's relevant to them. And obviously it has to add that value too. That's always first and foremost. And then FAQs. So FAQs are great for SEO. They're great for AI. FAQs are a huge thing to have on your page. You want these FAQs, again, to be very focused on the mission that your hero is trying to accomplish. So this should be kind of a regularly updated thing. You probably have a lot of questions that you already know your prospects are asking about this particular mission, but you can also use tools like SEMrush to find out what questions are being asked in Google, and then you can develop your answers around those questions. And then also, just as you work with prospects that have new questions, make sure that this is getting updated and those questions are getting added to the FAQ. So you can see, once this page is all built out, it's a very thorough page that has everything that prospect, that hero, needs in order to understand if you're the company that can help them be successful in their mission. Now, this is a starting point. This isn't a destination. So I'm not saying that you must have everything in this page and you can't deviate from this anatomy. This is something that you build out and then you test it and you try to improve this over time, right? So you always want to look and see how the page is performing, what feedback you're getting from the page, and then plan regular improvements on that page as you go along. Again, 3 parts of the hero mission. We talked about the hero. We talked about the mission. We just went over the storyboard. This is our storyboard that we looked at a little bit ago. What I want us to do now is look at one particular chapter, and I want to show you how we're going to break that chapter down. So we'll look at separating truth from smoke and mirrors. So when we're looking at that chapter and we were going through our brainstorming for hurdles and roadblocks, maybe there's 3 different hurdles that we came up with that are represented within this chapter. Vague metrics, no ROI tie-in, over promises and the secret sauce, and conflicting advice. And these are commonly, I see these all the time. So what we can do is start looking at what value can we add to help our hero overcome this friction point from a product standpoint, from a service standpoint, from an experience standpoint, and from a relationship standpoint, right? So those are our 4 pillars of value. For the product side of things, like, we leverage tools. So we can help the hero, owner Owen, overcome vague metrics and ROI by talking about Looker Studio and how we use Screaming Frog and SEMrush and all of these tools, so that he understands that there's tools out there that can pull all the data that he needs together and provide a very clear picture. Our service value. So what services have we done, and how can we pull from the services that we offer and add value to this particular hurdle or roadblock? Experiences where we're able to add value just based off of everything that we've experienced in our time in the industry, right? Other SEO experts are told what metrics work. We've experienced it. Like, we've seen what metrics work, right? So think about your business and the experience that you have. It might be tied directly to your product and offering, but your experiences can also flow beyond your product and marketing, right? Same thing with relationships. We have a relationship with HubSpot, so that's great. But relationships might go beyond what your products and at least the screen blacks out when I freeze, so I know that I'm frozen. With the relationship side of things, I was going to give an example of WooCommerce. So one of our clients, we built a e-commerce website for them, and John, he knows the back end operation side of e-commerce, from the QuickBooks to shipping to fulfillment, like all of that stuff. He is an expert at it, and that's an expertise that we don't have. So when I'm talking to one of our clients that are building out a WooCommerce site, it's easy for me to say, hey, I know somebody that you can talk to that's going to help you get this all ironed out, and it's going to be amazing. So I don't benefit directly from that, but boy, my hero does, my prospect does, my client does, because now they have a resource that they didn't even know they needed before, and now they have it, right? And I was the one that provided that, so that was value that I provided that is going to help them be more successful in the mission that they're trying to accomplish. So think about how you can add the value across those four pillars. Now, once we kind of have the value in there, we can start thinking about the content that we can create that reflects that value. So our content ideas here for product value could be how dashboards transform SEO reporting, right? And we want to have aha moments in here. So we want to make sure that when owner Owen is reading this content, he gets excited about what he's reading and what he's learning from this. From the service side, how to translate website traffic into business value. So we can start talking about metrics and talking about how they impact revenue for your business. Experience value, 3 SEO metrics that actually drive revenue. So this is digging into very specific metrics. Relationship value, proving ROI with HubSpot and CRM attribution. So we can map out how this works and set them up for success there. So those are our content ideas. Now, I want to take one of those content ideas and I want to just show you how we kind of map out our strategy around that content idea. So we want to make sure that the content that we're creating, we want to get eyeballs on the content that we're creating because we know it's valuable. We know it's going to help our hero be successful in the mission that they're trying to accomplish. So we have to get them to read it or to see it in order for that value to be fulfilled, right? So one of the key things we want to do is make sure that it's optimized so that if our hero is out there actively trying to learn, they find our content. So we go to our keyword research in order to see what our heroes are searching for. And actually, our next 2 webinars are on SEO. So if you're interested in learning more about SEO, sign up for those 2 webinars. So we might want to look at the existing keyword research that we've done, but we may want to do more keyword research based off of that specific niche and that area that we're in, so that we really get a full picture of what our hero might be searching for in order to find that content. So these are some of the keywords that I came up with. We understand what the volume is. That's the monthly volume. And then the difficulty score gives us a rough idea as to how difficult it is to rank for that. The lower the number, the better. The higher the number, the harder it is to rank for that. And I mean, just looking at this, enterprise SEO metrics, boy, that's a nice term. And it's relatively easy to rank for, has 170 searches a month. This sounds like a good term that I might want to optimize this post for. And as a business owner, they very well may be looking for enterprise SEO metrics. Or maybe owner Owen is one hero on this mission, but our marketing hero is also on this mission. So that's going to be a relevant piece for them too. Now, as we start building out our content, we want to structure our content within chapters. So this is our chapter 2, separating truth from smoke and mirrors. So we developed 4 content pieces just based off of 1 or 2 hurdles for this chapter, right? Our channel strategy is what are we doing to get people to look at that content? And then for each chapter, ideally, we'll have some sort of offer for that chapter that is a higher value piece, and it's something that they can download, or it provides something in their inbox so that that value is always there and always accessible to them. Like a calculator is a great example of this too, where you could have them fill out well, one of our clients is a solar company, and we have them upload their energy bill, and it does a whole bunch of calculations and tells them what they're going to save on solar, for example, and then that gets emailed to them. So this is great information that we're providing to them so that it's accessible to them whenever they need it, and it's always there, so they don't have to remember what your website is and go back to it. It's like it's in their inbox, right? Or they downloaded it and they have it. Once they get that, and we can have that behind a form if we want. We don't have to, but if we want to, we can have that behind a form. And then if they fill out the form, we can put them into a nurture workflow where, based off of where they entered that nurture workflow, we kind of know where they're at in the mission, and we can start giving them content that's relevant to where they're at. Or we could give content, a chapter, like across all 6 chapters, and just whatever we need to do to nurture them and get as much value as we can to them so that they understand our capabilities. And now anytime they land on one of these pages, we can do remarketing to them so that if they go out to weather.com or AccuWeather.com, they see the ads that we have promoting our content offer or our number 1 page. There's 2 ways to think about learning in the mission. So active learning is where your hero is actively going out and asking questions in order to get direct answers back so that they know how to do something. Passive learning is where they're learning through osmosis, right? So if you're scrolling through your LinkedIn feed and you see an interesting article, that's passive learning. If you go to AI and you're asking for the best pizza place in town, that's active learning. So you just keep that in mind whenever you're planning your marketing. Are the channels that you're talking about active learning, or are they passive learning? And how might that impact your strategy moving forward? So this is our chapter, and I kind of tried to color code it a little bit. So I have the active learning is our blue boxes. So for those blog posts on the left, on-site chat is a great source for active learning. SEO obviously is a great source for active learning. Now, I mean, with SEO, it's not just showing up in search engines, but that also helps you show up in AI searches, right? From a passive learning standpoint, the emails that we're sending out, display ads, paid social, paid organic, those are examples of passive learning that are very valuable at the blog post level. Active learning, depending on the channel, we may not want to have Google paid ads going to our active or going to our blog posts, but the display ads going to those blog posts may be more relevant. We also want to promote our number 1 page. So we definitely want to get eyes on that number 1 page too. So, and obviously we're going to want on-site chat on that number 1 page, and then SEO, make sure that that page is optimized. And then when we're doing our paid ads, really good active learning searches and paid ads, like your Google paid ads. Whenever you go to Google and you see all the sponsored listings, those are your paid ads. And those are typically active searchers, active learners who are seeing those ads. So we want those to go to see our number 1 page, because our number 1 page is our sales page. They're active learning. It's going to have our sales signal in there. And then it's also going to include, down in that resources section that we talked about, it's also going to include all of those blog posts in there as well, right? So they'll be able to scroll through and get exposure to those blog posts. All right, so to sum everything up really quick, when we're adding value to the mission, we need to understand the mission. So understand the origin point, research and planning, and all the hurdles and the roadblocks that they're going to face in there, that our hero is going to face in there. And then also understand what the value needs are there too. And then we're going to want to work to align all of our value, the product value, service, experience, and relationship value, so that we can help our heroes be successful in their mission. And I know this is a lot, and it is kind of a hard thing to keep organized in a way. We're actually building a platform around Hero Mission where you build out your heroes, you build out your missions, and then you can organize all of your stories. This is what it looks like now. This is where we're going to. So it's going to be a very robust platform that has AI built into it. So I'm very excited about that. We're very excited about that. And if you're interested in getting into the beta for the Hero Mission platform, schedule a call with me. If you want to talk about who your heroes are, what their missions are, what you should do with the #1 page, schedule a 15-30-minute call with me. I love talking about this stuff. I can talk about this stuff all day. So I'd love to have that conversation with you. And then again, upcoming webinars. We have an SEO roundtable coming up in September. And then October, we're looking at at how to turn your existing content into an SEO funnel. So that'll be exciting. The SEO roundtable, we're also looking at doing a live SEO review on that. So if you're interested in us reviewing your website during that session, send in your URL, tell us that you're interested. And we're even talking about maybe doing a competitive review on that as well. So if you want us to compare your site to one of your competitor sites, and we'll give you live insights, that's something that we're looking at doing right now. So that is all I have today. I know that was a whole lot. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to share? Sharon, I hope that was my webinar you're in for another 15 minutes, not somebody else's webinar. All right, I'll attempt to use my camera. I know I blacked out a couple times there. I didn't think that I would, but I did. So I apologize for that. I hope it wasn't too gappy whenever I was talking. All right. So if nobody has any questions, this is your last chance to ask any questions. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. All right. Well, we will finish it up then. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day and a great weekend. And again, if you want to talk about your stuff, give me a call. I'd be excited to do it. Laurie, the portal, the beta portal is done. The new and improved awesome portal is in development. So I don't have a timeline on when the new portal is going to be done. But in the portal that we have right now, the platform we have right now, you can build heroes, missions, and develop stories. So that is in place right now. So, all right, then we will talk to everybody later. Have a good rest of your day. See ya.